we are going to start the countdown, and at the same time, we're going to start the countdown. At the same time, we're going to play some music for you, and let me make sure the thing is ready to go. Now, we shouldn't get a strike on this one, but who knows with YouTube and our algorithms. Here we go, everybody. Five minutes to podcast. 5 minutes. Good evening, Texas bikers, bikers all across the nation and the world. This is Texas Biker Radio News. My name is Butch Popeye Moss. I'm the chief cook and bottle washer, national president, Sons of Liberty Riders MC, Texas Biker Radio News. And yeah, we have a co-founder, OG, who's usually here with me on Thursday nights, and the other nights are on me. And we'll be making some changes as we go into 2026. But I wanted to show you tonight, with all the things we've learned about algorithms, AI, and all that stuff. So in order for us to comply, and especially since we're bikers, we already have a strike against us just off the title of our podcast. And there are certain things we can't mention or can't do. Now, we've never made a dime out of the decade we've been doing this, more than a decade that we've been doing this. We've never made a dime off of YouTube, period. We either funded ourselves or we had donations by other groups. And it takes about $2,000 a year to operate this. And so, but just to show you what it takes to comply with all their policies. And I'm going to show you a video of what that would look like. And I'm going to play this for you. And let's see if you catch it. And I see... Nubs Knives is in the house. Oh, yeah. Said he's doing great. He's doing great. And so, so let me play this video that I did earlier today. And it's going to be, I think, well, see if you catch it, what I'm talking about. So let's play this. I'll switch the screen and get the audio ready. And here we go. Good day, Texas bikers across the nation and the world. This is Texas Biker Radio News. And here's the motorcycle news. Transportation officials across Texas are reminding riders post-holiday traffic operations are back to normal. Authorities say enforcement remains focused on existing safety and equipment regulations, including lighting, registration, and insurance. No new motorcycle laws have been announced, and officials emphasize these are routine safety checks as traffic volumes increase in the new year. In the geopolitical news and international news, diplomatic talks continue between several global partners regarding regional security and energy supply concerns. Officials involved say discussions remain ongoing, focused on stability with no immediately policy changes. Markets are responding cautiously as negotiations continue into early 2026. In closing, those are today's headlines. Ride smart, stay informed. Thanks to listening to Texas Biker Radio News. And man, thank you for listening. And did you recognize the difference. Good day, Texas bikers. So let me get my audio back on. Now, I don't know if you caught that. Let me go through this with you, what was just said, what you didn't hear, what you didn't hear. And let's start out with the motorcycle news. It was mundane. It said, transportation officials across Texas are reminding riders to post-holiday traffic operations are now back in order. Now, here's what we've done over the years. In other words, that was mundane. Authorities say enforcement remains focused on existing safety. None of it mentioned the DPS, law enforcement, anything like that. It's authorities say enforcement. Didn't point out anything. We can't point out a police department. We can't point out anything. No new motorcycle laws have been announced. Officials emphasized these are routine safety checks. By who? By who? I mean, it's incredible. International news, diplomatic talks, doesn't say who, global partners, blah, 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 blah. Nobody. You don't mention any names, any countries, anything like that. Nothing. It's got to be mundane. Now, that's not the way we operated here for the last decades. We've given our opinions on stuff, and we're going to do that tonight. But I just want you to know what it would take as a biker. You know, there are plenty of citizen journalists like us, and we've been at this at the forefront of it for decades. And like I said, there's no way we get monetized by YouTube. The policies are stacked against us because we're bikers. That's what's going on. And in that video, in closing, those are today's headlines. Ride smart, stay informed. Thanks for... Anyway, just say thanks for joining us. Incredible. Incredible. So, the Mercy Show is back with us again tonight. Popeye, what's going on, brother? How's everything? It's going good. Every day, we're learning about YouTube and how it works because it's harder than you think. There are a lot of people out there, a lot of citizen journalists. There's no way that they're monetized, I don't believe. I know Tusi TV, which we're going to be talking about later a little bit. With the videos they show, there's no way they're monetized. So they have to take different avenues to make money. And let me say this, it really helps to have some money in the bank so you can operate. That's the truth of it. And the Mercy Show, 1418, he says, I'm glad I found your channel again. I started watching your channel years back, and I lost the channel. Well, the reason for you losing the channel is because YouTube canceled us for 3 years until somebody sued them, and they decided they better start looking at their policies, and they brought channels like ours back up after telling us we would never be back. But I'm glad we are. And so, yeah, and we're hanging in there with our subscribers, which is a good thing, Now, what we're going to start doing now is we're going to do what we usually do. Now, there's not any certain order that these things we're going to bring up tonight, but we're going to comment on every one of them, and some of them are pretty funny. And I see Nub's Eyes. It's really stupid how many rules YouTube has. I can't even watch the real videos I wanted to watch without being blurred out of the video. All kinds of stuff, effects and water to just got to get out there. That's the truth of it. You just got to get out there. Well, let's look at our first video up. There is no audio to it, but it's a thing that we want your opinion on. It's where a bike. Well, let's look at it. Oh. And he limps to the side. Let's look at that one more time. There we go. Okay, boop, boop, boop. Okay, the question of that was that was on the X-Files, the X channel. I call them the X-Files. What do you think about that? Who was at fault? Now, I would say that depends on what state you're in. Like in California, and that looks like that's what that could be with the hills in the background. But attempting to do lane splitting on a street glide or a road glide or whatever else with the saddlebags, I would think that is really asking for it. One little mistake by either the automobiles or by the biker himself. So, yeah, that can put you down pretty quick. And I would say, on my street glide, I wouldn't attempt that. Whether I had the law enforcement on my side. California allows lane splitting. And I'm surprised there's not more accident than you really hear about with that. We'll have to look into that one day and see about that. But it's a lesson now. It's a lesson. Okay, the Mercy Show. I have a biker content channel as well as just put on short on Popeye Deserve. Okay, we'll take a look, buddy. We'll take a look. Maybe we can collaborate on some stuff. But let's go. Okay, I do want to bring up that one of our brothers in our motorcycle club, Sons of Liberty Riders MC, as you see that cut hanging on the wall. Now those patches are constitutionally protected. But one of our brothers said, hey, had a police officer, I looked at my rearview mirror and he had a cell phone up. Now, he said, I assume he was taking pictures of me. Well, yeah, that probably can happen. I think he said that was Hazlitt, and I'm not sure on that. I'll double check on that. But maybe he doesn't understand that those patches are constitutionally, or just maybe They're running their own database for that little bitty town. And I emphasize little bitty. And who knows, maybe he's keeping his own database. He has a little bitty brain. I'm just saying, everybody. And see, that comment I did just then would cause us to never be able to get monetized. But then, like I said, we haven't depended on that for all these decades. But yeah, I want to end this next one here. This next one. And I'm not going to play much sound on these because what happens is if the algorithms, AI or whatever entity is monitoring your video that you may be putting out there, they hear the background music that somebody's playing, and then you get a strike over it. Now, in most cases, they'll tell you you're not, they don't care, the people that have copyrighted that music, because I do believe the more somebody hears it, the more chance they may go looking for that piece of music. Even if it's done by accident while you're recording something. You didn't mean to put it there, but it just happened. And it's this way with some of these videos. So this one here, but I want to show you the mother of the year. The mother of the year. Watch this, everybody. Oh no, she's had it with the phone. That's one way to cure them. Have a night of that going on. Oh yeah. Mother of the year. Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. And of course, nobody needs to hear this next fool. And I'm going to tell you what he's saying. I'm not going to make you suffer with the sound of his voice and his stupidity. But there's a couple of things I want to tell you that's going to happen. Mark my word, this is going to happen if they get back in power. Young people, listen up. You Gen Zers, don't be hoodwinked of what these people are trying to do. Now, here he is. Thank God you can't hear him. Thank God you can't hear him. Because you know what he's saying? He's saying, well, now that we've got 11 million immigrants into the country, and more than that, more than likely, he wants to make them all citizens now, ASAP. That's what he wants to do, and all those dumb shits behind him. But let me say this. Donald Trump is right. They need to get rid of the filibuster now, before the midterms, and pass some legislation, some much needed legislation. Because if these people convince the American people that the economy is going to hell, that nothing's affordable, and I submit to you that's not true, because just look at what's going on out in your city, especially if you're in a red city, a Republican city. This Christmas was gangbusters. Every restaurant was full. The traffic on the highways were full. I paid $2.11 today for gas. This is January 2nd, 2026. $2.12 and headed for under $2 is what's going to happen. Yeah. Danny Howe is in the house. How you doing, Danny? How you doing? So, this is what's going on. Do not be hoodwinked by these bunch of lying a-holes. Do not. Do not. Because if we don't do it, they're going to. And exactly what he just said, let's make them all citizens, that's exactly what they would do if they were to get back in power. Now, if they do happen to take over the Congress, you can bet there's going to be a whole lot of vetoes. A whole lot. But I thought this next one was pretty funny. I hope there's not any music with this. If there is, I'll have to take a hit on it. But I thought it was pretty funny. We'll see about it. And let me get the audio going here. And do a couple things here. Okay, here we go.
Mareykanka waxay ka qabanaysaa wixii annaga aan dhahno dawladda Mareykanka qabo. Waa wadankii gabar idinka dhalatayne ee wadanka Soomaaliya biyaheeda dad kaleeta iyo badeeda dad kale ma qaadanayaan. Jawaabteedu waxay ahayd dawladda Mareykanka waxay ka qabanaysaa wixii annaga aan dhahno dawladda Mareykanka qabo. Waa wadankii gabar idinka dhalatayne ee wadanka Soomaaliya biyaheeda dad kaleeta iyo badeeda dad kale ma qaadanayaan. Jawaabteedu waxay ahayd dawladda Mareykanka
Okay, I had to tune that one out. That runs on for about 5 minutes back and forth. That's basically saying the same thing. But Trump was mimicking the deal. I'm sorry you're hearing my dogs out there in the background, but hey, it is what it is. And so let's this was on the X-Files. I just noticed that one. Will Black Americans ever see reparations? Well, the answer to that is no, but then again, maybe yes, when Democrats get into control. We've already seen what they've done with the in Minnesota. They were just pissing money every which direction, and it was incredible. Matter of fact, let's listen to what this dude has to say about what's going on in Minnesota. It's incredible. It's incredible. So we'll turn it on.
The Iranian regime is more desperate than they want you to believe. Look at this. They are now relying on Arabs, foreign fighters in Iran, as their own system is cracking from the inside. Those guys were speaking Arabic, not Farsi. And that alone tells you that something broke. But here's what's more important. The collapse has already come to their banks. No rumors, no protest chatter. That's a big way how regimes collapse. The Central Bank of Iran has ordered banks to prepare for a nationwide disruption. Not if, when. That was a clear admission, okay, that the banks are preparing for loss of central control. When a government plans for that, it's expecting craziness. They were bracing for infrastructure failure, payments, network, data systems. And And that actually only comes when unrest is expected to like outpower their security. Okay, so the banks are getting told to prepare for offline operations. That means internet shutdowns, cyber breakdowns, and physical attacks on their financial centers. Okay, they were preparing the Iranian terrorist regime for mass withdrawals and liquidity stress. That's code for we don't trust our own system to make it. Okay, this is financial martial law without saying the words. When a regime locks money, it's because they fear has reached the headquarters. At the same time, the banks are preparing for collapse. The terrorist regime's manpower is going to nothing. The men are quitting. They're refusing orders. They're walking away. They don't want to face the Iranian mob. Those are lions out there. That's why the regime is outsourcing their fear to these Arabs. They're bringing in foreign fighters because Iranian men no longer believe in their lie. Okay? And here's the truth. The system is already breaking. The streets know it. The banks know it. Even the Iranian terrorist regime elites have been taking their money overseas as their working class workers are just going to get stuck facing an angry Iranian mob. Their families have exit plans. Okay? But the Iranian government worker, they don't. So if you're a man inside the regime, listen carefully. You are not protecting Iran. You are protecting a terrorist regime who will abandon you. History is ruthless to the last men who defend a sinking ship. The smart move now is simple. Walk away, save yourself, stand with your people. Because when this money freezes, okay, fear will switch sides. And when fear switches sides, the terrorist regime will fall.
Well, that had nothing to do with the Somalis. That was Iran. And yes, it is collapsing. The Ayatollah, they're not sure where he's at, but we're sure special operators know where he's at. The Mossad knows where he's at. And Trump has already said, if you start killing civilians, we're going to step in. And the IRGC, they're on the run. Now, there's a lot of people out there, they're trying to get their proxies into the capital of Tehran, of Iran. They're trying to get them to defend the capital. Now, tomorrow, the Shah in exile, the prince, has asked thousands and thousands of people to go to Tehran and take it over. And take it over. Millions is what he would like. This is going to be incredible. This is going to go one way or the other tomorrow. But then again, it may be a week before it totally collapses. The banking system is collapsing. They have a water shortage, a severe water shortage. People are going to be, I don't know how they're going to fix that, but maybe our engineers and other people around the world can help with it. But they're not going to help the Ayatollah Assahola. They're not going to help him. And if people are smart, the ones that their minions, if their minions are smart, they'll stay the hell out of the way and they'll get the hell out of Dodge, because let me tell you, they're recognizable. Why? Because all the fat-ass mullahs and the IRGC and special police and stuff like that, they all drive the same damn cars afforded to them by the government. The Ayatollah, Assahola, and the mullahs. They all drive these little white clown cars. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what they do. And here's some of the riots that's been going on all day today in cities throughout Iran. And let's take a little look at this real quick. No audio to it, I don't think. Look at this. People are out screaming, the Ayatollah must die, the mullahs must die. They are saying, hey, it's time to get rid of them. It's time to take our country back away from the Islamists that's caused so much pain around the world. It's time. It's time for them to come back into the fold of successful democracies, no matter what kind of government they choose. But it has to be a government that the people choose. Not like the ones in Hamas in Gaza. No, nothing like them. Hell no. That's what I'm saying. So, who can go to help? Who is going to help these people here I am here? Who's going to help these people? The Ayatollah asshole. Who's coming to take care of? Who's coming to help? Well, Belarus is trying to do it. They brought an aircraft in, coming from all the way from Belarus down here to Iran. What they need to do is what we need to do is close down the damn airspace. Quick. Close it down. Make it too dangerous for them to come in. And let me tell you, everybody, Russia can't afford to send them any troops. They're in the damn, they're in a troop grinding mill in Ukraine. They can't afford to send any troops down to Iran. They might send them some missiles, but who's going to fire them? Everybody's getting the hell out of Dodge. That's what I'm saying. But moving on, everybody. Trump today has ended automatic green cards for a migrant marrying a U.S. citizen. Oh, yeah. This should have been done a long time ago. Because a lot of these marriages are marriages just to get into the country. Who knows what kind of money is being spent or transferred just for a green card. I'm just saying, everybody, that any blue state is capable. And let me tell you, right now, the people in Minnesota are in trouble. Yeah, they are. Because, let me get back here. Because this guy, let's not even talk about daycares. Let's talk about the Small Business Association Administration, Small Business Administration. They suspend 6,900 borrowers for $400 million in suspected fraudulent business loans in Minnesota. And this is just a drop in the bucket, everybody. This is just a drop in the bucket. And yes, money has made it back into the hands of money has made it back into the hands of politicians. Smalley operators of daycare centers and other social services receiving tax dollars, many fraudulently, are also donating shares of their looted funds to politicians. Who didn't know that? Who didn't suspect that? And yes, we hear now that many of these blue states have been doing the same damn thing. The same damn thing. But let me tell you, everybody, citizen journalist Nick Shirley fires back after CBS claims no daycare fraud in Minnesota. None of it, there was no fraud found, CBS says. And, hey, you can't trust them bastards. There's no way anybody in the mainstream media, including CNN, CBS, MSNBC, all the rest of them, they're not reporting. The only one that's reporting on this stuff without a bunch of bullshit is Fox News. Sorry, but that's the truth. That's the truth. And so, with this right here, let's look at this. Voter ID strictness and welfare benefits for illegal immigrants. In other words, those dark blue states, those are states that don't have voter ID. And it's incredible because the amount of welfare and stuff they get is nuts. It's nuts. I'll get you the data on this. I'll post it on Facebook. It's incredible. But hey, look, everybody. I can't wait. Let me see. I can't wait, everybody. I cannot wait. The boy mayor, Mamdani, M-A-M, Donnie, ma'am. Look, he says he's going to be a good communist and implement all his plans. He's going to change New York no matter what anybody says about him. Yep. But I'm telling you, don't ever trust a guy that's wearing a nightgown out in public. I saw one the other day in Costco, walking in there in his dress. You don't know whether he's going to bed or what he's doing. So this boy Muslim who's getting on-the-job training. Now, I can't wait till he cannot. Now, you know what he's going to do? He's going to blame everything on Trump, is what he's going to do. Just like they're all doing right now. Everything's being blamed on Trump. And look, there's James Rooney. We hadn't seen him in a while. How are you doing, buddy? I'm telling you, it's more than crazy out there. It's more than crazy out there. And look, probably what we're going to do is on Tuesday nights, we're going to have the regular program, Texas Biker Radio News. And then through the week, we are going to make comments on Popeye's podcast. And I don't know if we'll make that a separate entity or what, but our experiment is over. We're not going to change from what we do. We're not going to change. We're still going to talk about what we want to talk about. Now, we don't talk about clubs fighting with each other. We could probably make a lot bigger splash if we did that. But we're trying to give respect to everybody. But yes, we're going to call law enforcement out whenever they're doing things they shouldn't be doing when they've got other work to do. And one of them is putting these culprits, these fraudsters, these illegal immigrants that are killing children. And yes, why did I not get that picture up? That 8-year-old girl that just died at the hands of a drunk illegal alien. So is that his American dream? To ride up and down the highways drunk and go across the yellow line and hit a car head on so bad that you can't tell what it is? The engine put up into the car? And let me tell you, I experienced that same thing. In 1966, we were in a fastback Mustang in Madison, West Virginia. After I had buried my best buddy in the Navy, I was set to go back to Norfolk. And I was with some other young kids. I was 18. We were in a fastback Mustang. Going up a mountain road, we lost control. We hit third gear, lost control. We hit a telephone pole, dead center. And the motor came back into the cab. It was next to me. My head hit the windshield, shattered it. And they didn't check me for a brain bleed. That was for damn sure. But people died. As I was on a mission to bury my best buddy. On a mission I wasn't ready for in the first place. But that's another story. That's another thing. Everybody have a great evening. Pass this on. If you're already subscribed, like and share. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Help keep us growing. And yes, let me tell you, if we were to have another Waco type situation, we would be back out there. Make no doubt about that. No doubt. This is Butch Popeye Moss, Texas Biker Radio News. Have a great evening. Thank you guys that joined me here in the top chat. We'll see you soon. Maybe on a Popeye podcast. How about that? Stand tall, Gen Zers and millennials. Stand tall. You're the key. You're the key. Thank God for Donald Trump. 2026 is going to be great. Bye-bye.